Welcome back to Red Hawk Media. Today we're continuing our series of the web design. We are currently in part 3 here, and well, here's where we're at. We've got the basics of some very primitive HTML formatting set up here. And we've got a header, we've got a section for content, we've got a nav bar, and we've got a footer. Right? And what I'd like to do is show you how we can add some additional blocks into this so we can kind of customize it and make it a little bit more ours. Now, if you haven't yet, you probably should go, obviously, from what we originally copy and pasted, change the content of all this, add in some different colors, maybe change the sizes to fit more what you're looking for. And of course, all of that, which I'd like to start with here, because this is where we're going to be focusing today, is in the head. Okay, if we go over to our code here and we look at all of this, this is all of the brains of the operation, basically. It tells the header what color to be, what the width of it is, the color of the text, where the text should be, and then any padding that goes along with it so that it's not sitting right on the edge. Same thing with the nav bar, the section where the content is, and then the footer. Right? All of these things are customizable. So I've taken the liberty of changing up some of the sizes here so that they work a little bit more. It's still kind of funky looking for a website, and it's not very mobile friendly or anything like that, but it's kind of a starting point for us. This is where we're going to begin. What I'd like to do is I'd actually like to add some kind of a picture or a video or some kind of block of space over here where I can get some kind of graphic in there. Because right now there's not a whole lot going on. So let's go ahead and create that. To begin with, I'd like to continue on with this idea of creating a section, okay, or a block that's named a certain thing so that I can customize that and make it a certain size. So I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to kind of steal some of the stuff that previously is in here, and I'm going to add it in again and rename it. So I'm going to copy the section part here, and we want to make sure that we get the bottom tag and all the way up to the hashtag up here. Okay, that's the whole thing that we want. We're going to copy that, and since this is going into the right of that section, we're going to go ahead and paste it right below. So now we've got section. Okay, and in blue you'll be able to see hopefully everything that's new that goes in here, so that you can see what we're adding in. Now, I don't want it to be called section because we've already got one of those. I did say that it's going to be some kind of graphic or something, so I'm just going to call it gallery. Now, again, for naming conventions, everything is lowercase, no spaces. If you need to put a space or separate something, use underscores, but keep it as simple as possible because we're going to be using this in our code below. So if this is the head and it does all the thinking, we want to add in the actual content to the body here. Now if we go down and look at it, here is the full body all the way through. So starting from here down to here, this is everything that shows up over here. So we can see here's our div for the header, and there's our title that goes in the middle with Red Hawk Media. Here's our navigation area, and there's the RHM links part that's over here, and you can see the rest of it here. Now, after this content here for the paragraph, I want to add in that other block that we just created. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little space in here to separate this out so I can stay organized. And I'm going to go command, actually we're not going to go command, we're going to go div. And just like we did for the section up here, okay, we can go like this, Command C, let's bring this down, and Command V. Boom. Alright, now, just like we did above, it's not called section anymore, it's called gallery. Okay, this opens up my new area for the graphics. Now, we always have to close the area as well, so I put the closing div tag at the end. And then in between this, I just want to put a picture in here to start with. We'll start basic. Okay, so let's go img src equals quotes. Now, go back over to my website folder here. Let's bring that up and see what we've got. Alright, I got one picture sitting in my folder right now. It's the same one that we saw in the previous episode, which is html.jpg. Let's go ahead and add that in here. html.jpg. Okay, now, here's what I've got. I've got a block of space that's adding in a picture. Alright, if I go ahead and Command S this, and then come back over here and refresh, we see that we've got some issues here. Okay, one, whoop, I typed in the code wrong. Let's go ahead and close up those quotes here. Command S that again, and then come over here, and boom. Alright, we've got this abnormally large picture that makes no sense with our formatting whatsoever. So now we have to start tweaking the formatting here, and unfortunately, painful as it may be, this requires a little bit of math. Now, right now, the total width of our website is demonstrated by our header or our footer. So if we go up to the top, again, back up to the brains of the operation, and we look at the width of the header, we see that it's 1160. So that's our total pixels for the whole website here. Actually, it's got 5 pixels padding, so we could say that it's actually 1170, 5 pixels on each side. Okay, now if I come down here and I look at what we've got so far for pixels and width, we've got 150 for the width on the nav area. Okay, we have 550 for the section, so now we're up to 700, and that leaves us about, well, we'll say about 425. No, let's go with 400 to work with in the gallery. This is just a rough guess, kind of putting this in here. And I've got padding of 10 pixels going around that so that it's not all the way up to the edge. Okay. Now, I've got my gallery figured out. That means that in this small space over here, 400 pixels or so, I'll be able to fit this picture there. But right now, I've got to apply some styling to the picture. So I come back down to the actual content. And in the code line that has the picture right here, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add the part that we learned yesterday, style equals. And we're going to go quotes. Let's start with the width. Width, colon. Alright, and now for the width, we'll go with, let's go with 425. Okay, and that's pixels, semicolon. Now we've got the height, and colon. And then we've got 280 pixels or so. Yes, I've checked this previously, so I'm kind of cheating. But you'll have to figure out the pixels so that it doesn't get distorted and you know exactly what you're looking for. So now I've got my image styled. I've got the block up above styled for the gallery. And if I hit Command S and I come back over here and I refresh, boom, we've got this nice little gallery area. Okay, so I've got a picture in there. You can see that it's almost lined up with the edges on the end here. And anybody that does web design is going to be really particular about lining up edges. So I could go ahead and go in and tweak that a little bit so that there's not so much padding around the picture, or so that the picture is slightly bigger so it goes over the edge. And that would be all adjustments that I would make up here in the gallery part. So maybe I don't want the padding to be 10 pixels. Or right here in the width of the pixel, or the width of the picture. So that kind of is how I can format another block in there. Now if we take a close look at what's going on here, we notice that in all of these 3 things that are in the middle here, we've got this command happening. Okay, this is kind of a positioning command, and it's telling the nav to float on the left side. So that's the first thing. Now after that, we've got the section, which is floating on the left. And since we're stacking these containers in here, it just goes left, and then this goes to the left of that, and then this goes to the left of that, because if we look at the gallery, we've got float left on here also. So that's just kind of a quick way to set that up. Now, there's going to be more adjustments that we'll have to make in the future, because again, this is a weird looking website. If you take a look at it when this page is sized out, one, it should be sitting in the middle here. It should be centered, and there should be some spaces on each side of it. That would make it mobile friendly. And then, if I go like this and I start shrinking it down, you can see my picture gets bumped out of the way and all kinds of stuff starts happening here, and it just gets worse and worse. Okay, there are ways to prevent that from happening so that if we work in a smaller window size, it doesn't distort the website considerably. We'll get to that. Okay, for now, let's learn one of the new HTML things that's really basic. It's probably a very popular one that a lot of you are going to want to try. We've done the image thing already. So instead of an image, let's actually do a video. And let's save ourselves a whole lot of work and a whole lot of storage space and do it directly from YouTube. So I'm in YouTube now. Here's our Red Hawk Media channel. Okay, and here's the previous episode that we had for this on web design. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. Okay, and we'll pause that. And down below, this is the area that we're interested in. We're going to go to share. Now, everyone knows about the share link thing, but a lot of people skip over the embedding part. Now, the embedding, YouTube wants to spread its videos all over the place, so they make it very easy to do so. So they give you embed code. This way I can add it right into my website with no questions asked. So I'm going to copy that. And now I'm going to come back over to my document here. And in this area, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of this image altogether. I'm just going to paste right over the top of it. Boom. Now I have an iframe. An iframe is a linked video. The video is hosted by YouTube, and it would go to YouTube to play it. Now here's some problems that we're going to run into. The width of the video is 560, the height is 315. If I go ahead and save this right now, and then we come back over to our website here and refresh, okay, we've got a video that has gone rogue here. Alright, it's way off to the right of the side here. It doesn't line up at all. So now it comes right back to the math. We come in here for the width. The width that we had previously was 425, and that was pretty close. Okay, and the height that we had was 280, and that worked out pretty well for a landscape size picture. And we're going to Command S, save that, and come back over and refresh. And boom. I've got a YouTube video that's actually posted in here. Now I could play this YouTube video from the site, or of course, as usual, I've got the option to go to YouTube and play it there as well. Okay, so that's a quick way to add in a YouTube video. There's going to be some more HTML basics coming up here, and a few more positional things of how to move some stuff around, because of course we're going to want to change the way that this looks. In the near future as well, probably this next episode, we'll talk about actually making this a website. Right now it's a single page. We have to add more pages for it to technically be a website. We'll show how that process goes. It's really quick, it's really simple, and I know that we can get it done here. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Red Hawk Media. Bye.